I was really interested in a trek that, like, sort of a study abroad experience that wasn't focused on me, like, learning these hardcore facts, or, like, we're not doing it for the credits or the grade or anything like that. Like, it's a really organic experience of learning, and that's something I was interested in finding. So I think my funniest thing I get to tell people is that I died for half a day. Not sure what it was. I think that it was heat stroke or something like that, heat exhaustion. And so one night in the middle of the night, I just woke up and started throwing up, and that continued all night long. And I couldn't drink water, so I was becoming dehydrated, and I've never appreciated water so much, or just realized, like, how much of my body is water. I think I lost like 10% of my body. But I think it was also a learning experience because I was realizing that, like, I was in a different place. I couldn't just, like, cuddle under my covers and call my mom and things like that. So it was more like learning to be sick on your own kind of thing, or in an unfamiliar place with new people who were really supportive. Like, Morgan was the best. Man, like, it felt like we'd been friends for a really long time. And her and Abby were just, like, really, really nice. Morgan was up, like, the entire night, and she's just like, I'm so worried about you, are you okay? And I just felt bad for waking her up, and Abby, I don't know, they were just really nice about it. I definitely don't think it made it worse at all. I think that, like, getting sick is just something that kind of happens sometimes when you go to a new place. I think I became closer with Morgan and Abby after that experience, for one thing. And I just felt more awake after that experience to the Finca, and just I liked that it was sort of at your own pace kind of thing. Like, I know there were times like breakfast is at 8 and then we're doing this for the half the day, but none of it really felt rushed, like we had a particular schedule to stick to. And it felt like everyone was doing it because they wanted to be doing it. Like, no one was forced to be doing things they didn't want to do. And their hearts were in it. Like, when we were digging out the pit and everything, I can tell that everyone, like, they were putting their hearts into it, that kind of thing. They're not just doing it because, like, oh, I get to go to a farm, but then I have to do this stuff too, but I get to go to a farm. I feel like kids do that sometimes. I think make sure to have lots of conversations with people. I regret that a little bit. I think I was talking in the van and I said that I just forget to talk sometimes. But I do really like listening to people and their stories, and we still talk to each other now that we're back, so that's cool. We just ask lots of questions, ask tons of questions to Wade. Wade knows so many cool things. He's such a cool guy. Get to know Yami and Dorothy and the kids. The boys are really cute. I wish I could have spent more time with them. Just get to know the people really well. When I write about my hometown a lot, not a lot of the people who live there have left the town at all. They've been in that town their entire lives, or their family's been in that town. Like, the kids just, like, never see outside places, and they're never exposed to new things. And I think that that's the only real way to grow. You have to be challenged and you have to be exposed to new things. So I'm not really big on manual labor, just because it's never been my forte. But it does feel good to do it. It feels like you get to see a direct impact on the land. Like, I'm really happy that I got to do it, and I think those are probably some of my favorite parts of the trip, was just working together with everyone. I think I built up my arm muscles a little bit, shoveling, and it's just good to have such a direct connection to the land and the work you're doing. Like, you get to see the results right then and there. I think I find myself looking at things a little differently, just viewing things a little differently. Like, the other day I went to a panel talking on ocean acidification, and there were a bunch of professors at Penn State, and they were up there talking about the work they were doing with coral reefs and things like that. And someone asked them, like, what do we do? How do we stop this from happening, like the pollution in the reefs and everything? And I thought it was really interesting, the responses from most of the people were like, well, scientists are working on these giant geoengineering things, and we can add this and this and this to the water. But no one ever talked about how we were the people causing it, and if we just reduced our habits, that would have a better impact on the reef. Like, that wasn't mentioned at all. I think I learned that from the Finca, like, just like if you live with what you need, and then you have little impact instead of all this extravagance. Like, we keep creating problems, and then we make extravagant, complex solutions to fix those problems instead of going back to the basic way that it was. I think it's a trip. It starts out with people who have similar interests, usually strangers, people that you don't know. But what brings you together is that you all have this common goal of learning more about where you're going, learning more about each other. And I want to use the word sustainability, but I think maybe not in the connotation, just being more sustainable to yourselves, like how Haley said in your question. Like, thinking more about the simple basic needs that we have, going back to that. And then you learn a lot, and you have a lot of fun experiences in the trek, and you shouldn't be afraid to do things. Like, I think it was a good learning experience for everyone. If you want to get out of your comfort zone and learn and grow, I think it's a good place to go. And it's a good place to find a family of friends. We have a similar program at my high school for like troubled youth and things like that. And on the way back, I just kept thinking about like, how can I bring this kind of experience back and share that with them? So that's been one of my goals that I've been thinking about and kind of talking to my teachers about recently.